The Pink Panther. That's what we're going to have a little go at today. A little arrangement actually from this particular book. It's the Grade 2 Contemporary Piano syllabus by Rock School, but it's also in their classical syllabus, this particular piece. It's a nice little arrangement, about Grade 2. So it's quite a simple one. Probably need to have played the piano for around about a year and a half to 2 years maybe, with some good practice to get to this standard. So it's kind of like later beginner sort of standard, but sounds pretty cool. So that's the idea today. So I'll take you through it. I will perform it first. It's a solo piece. We will do that first, and then we'll go through some of the basic techniques that are needed for this particular piece. It's all based around the E blues scale. So the E blues, what's that? Well, it's this. It would be a good idea to have a little practice going through that to make sure that you understand those particular notes before you have a go at this. Understanding the key and the scales that a piece is based on is quite an important aspect of learning a piece. But we'll talk about that more later. Let's go into the performance. That's the basic performance of the Pink Panther. Quite a cool little tune. I played it quite straight there. I don't mean I didn't swing it, but played it quite rigidly with the arrangement that's written. And we can go over a few little techniques now to either play it like that or how to make it a little bit more loose, because this is kind of a loose blues sort of performance, and you can do all sorts of tricks with it once you learn the basic outline. So what are some of the basics? Well, first of all, what I would recommend is this is all about rhythm. You have to get the rhythm right. So make sure that you are, first of all, learning it at a very slow pace and counting. It would be good to do a metronome with this. There's some varying opinions on whether metronomes are good or not for practicing with. In some contexts, I totally agree that metronomes are good. Sometimes they're not. It depends on the student as well, very much, and how you sort of feel. But what is vital is developing an internal pulse. There's too many people who try to play piano from a beginner level and just sort of use their ears while the piece goes like this, and then start playing the piece. We've got to get the count right. So at the start of this music, you've got a 2 beat rest and a half a beat rest. So 2.5 beats. So count that. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and so on. One thing just to bear in mind, with this piece, the straight quavers that are written are to be played swung. And how that really works is, when you see this sort of symbol, it's coming up on the screen now, in music, what it means is it's a triplet. You don't play quavers like this, even quavers, or eighth notes. You play them like this, 1, 2, 3. You split the beat into 3 even parts, a triplet, 1 triplet, and you play on the first triplet and on the third triplet. So 1 triplet. So you get this effect. That's basically a swing rhythm. Should have told you that at the start. Okay, so for instance, as opposed to, sounds much cooler, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got to this part. This is bar number 5. I'll do it slow-mo. The way to practice this run is to do it separate hands, so this one first. Notice my finger pattern there, second on the D sharp, going over and coming with my third finger there. Then the triplet, this is quite an important part, bar 8. So how I would count this, for instance, give an example of how I'd count bar 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. I'll slow that down. So you've played this B flat on beat 1. 1, 2, 3 triplet. Sorry. 1, 2, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. So can you see how I'm counting that? And counting, I'll come back to it. You're not going to be able to count all the way through a piece of music. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Because some of the times, those eighth notes switch to triplets, for instance. Or maybe you've got a minim that goes in there, or even faster notes, like semiquavers or something. 16th notes. And suddenly it becomes quite hard. But the basic rule is in a bar, find the fastest note value. So in this piece, the fastest note value is generally an eighth note. And count the eighth notes. Okay, so like this. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how to count it. This particular bar, bar 11, is probably one of the most tricky parts of the piece. Now, how do we learn this? It looks quite hard on the music. What I would suggest doing is play this E here and then put your thumb on D and practice this separately. It's a chromatic run. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. And I'll just practice that till it becomes automatic. So you're not having to think 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, like that. Then learn this separately. Get that in your head. Then think, well, on the G here, that's when the D starts. So when you've learnt this automatically, then you should think, right, as long as I play this G with this D and just carry on the rhythm, it will just happen automatically like this. Rather than thinking of all those separate notes and where they come, going, oh, right, that one's there, that one's there, that one's there. I see a lot of people practicing like that. It's like treacle practice, I call it. It's like you're going slowly through a bar. Just learn separate hands. One of them will become automatic in the end. Muscle memory. And then let it take over. Okay, there you go. Page 2, the second time bar. This is a really cool run. I always like putting a little blues note in. I'm just doing that there. So, you can do all sorts of things with this. If you're playing it straight for the exam, if you're taking the exam, you'd play it like this. But if you wanted to kind of funk it up a little bit, little bit of an improvised section. You could even do the little blues scale, because it's really using the blues scale. Look, coming down. Do a little run like that, or maybe use an E minor 7 chord. You know, there are all sorts of little stuff you could do with that little section. I really like it, but that's just if you want to give some extra to it. This is bar 19. So 1 triplet, how would you count that? You'd count it like this: 1 triplet, 2 and 3. No, you wouldn't. You'd count it like this: 1 triplet, 2 and 3. See the importance there of counting? I didn't count properly and I got the rhythm wrong. So it's 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. Can you see how I'm counting it wrong there? Showing you on purpose how, if you don't get the tempo, the internal pulse right, the beat can kind of flow automatically out of you at a different speed throughout the bar. So you want 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. 1. Then speed that up. Now some people would put this here. I've seen this done. But then you've got 3 beats in the bar because you've dropped. You've got 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 1. So it should be rest, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't get in bar 23 to this chord here. Don't go, oh, every time you come into it, what are the notes? It's a E, it's a G, it's a B, it's a D. Don't do that. When you get chords in jazz music, or in any music, in classical as well, take a look at the chord and visualise what chord is it. Even if you don't know the name of that chord, you don't need to be a genius at music theory. You kind of think, right, okay, well, I've got an E and a G in the left hand. So it's kind of like an E minor kind of shape. So E and a G. And then here, it's a B major chord shape. And that's together. So now I've memorised that shape. Rather than looking at the score, I know it comes in on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure when you're playing this piece, you hold it till the piano dies away. And then up, okay? For the whole length. That's actually a really good point. There's a lot in this piece of holding left hand notes for sort of 4 beats and 2 beats. Don't play them staccato, play them really smoothly. So, there's the Pink Panther. I hope you really enjoyed that. Give you a couple of improvising techniques over the top of this. Just to kind of use some improvisationary ideas, really. Take an E minor 7 chord, either E, G, D or E, G, B, D. The blues scale in E. You could even play the major 7th of E, so the D sharp in here as well, which of course appears in the Pink Panther a lot, the D sharp. So you go. And just go like this. Make up a tiny little melodic idea. Give it space, because you want a bit of space with improvisation. So 1, 2 and 3, 4. Keep playing the E minor chord. So I've just kind of made that up as I'm doing the video. I'm using this shape of using that B flat coming off onto the B. It's kind of like this idea, isn't it? The one that goes. But I'm going. So if you were kind of doing a performance of this by memory, you could do some kind of really cool intro, like use that chord from the end. It's the other kind of thing you can do with a piece once you know it well. Be creative with it. I really recommend doing that with a piece like this. But hope you've enjoyed that. We'll do some more improvisation techniques on some of my other tutorial videos that are coming up shortly on my channel. Keep watching. Please hit the subscribe button. That's really useful for me to have some subscribers. Please join in. Free advice on my channel, and I hope you like my style. There's plenty of other YouTubers out there who do a better job than me, but at least I offer some kind of, I hope, unique insight and perception into certain pieces. I hope that was useful for you. See you guys. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.